Hey everybody, welcome back to the Overwatch project. I wanted to do a direct response to somebody's comment that I just got, and it's because I get similar comments and I want to try to address anybody with a similar comment like that all at once. So this one is from Donjuans' Recklessdaughter. That's a pretty cool handle. Anyway, she writes, as a former cop, you know very well that if you don't comply with what you are told to do, then the authorities have the right to do whatever they want with you, even kill you. Why should it be any different on the other side? True, one is already dead, but that most probably is not the end of the authority hierarchy. I have a hard time believing that on the other side is any different than this side. Same, but different. As the saying goes, I always appreciate your videos. You do excellent in-depth research and you strike me as a sincere truth seeker. I'm not bothered by the fact you were a cop. I've got nothing against cops unless they're abusing their power or harassing someone unjustly. Moreover, that you were once in the authority hierarchy and can be critical of it strikes me as hopeful. If you can see the scam, then there's hope for others. I wouldn't be surprised if many more law enforcement officials harbor critical thoughts about what they have to do, but just keep it to themselves for fear of losing their livelihood. Thank you for all that you do. Thanks for that comment. And as far as law enforcement goes, I'm sorry if the sound doesn't sound great. I'm using the microphone on my laptop. I should try to figure out a better way to record audio, but anyway, so hey, look, in America alone, there's like 750,000 cops, and most people go day to day in their lives, and they're not bothered by them to a large extent. Now, of course, there's bad ones out there, and the media, for as fake news as they are, for as biased as they are, they do love to fuel controversy when it comes to police. So as far as people saying there's no watchdog, the media loves to basically persecute any cop they find doing anything wrong, and to the point where sometimes they go a little bit too far and then they fan the flames of riots and stuff like that. But I don't want to get into that discussion here. You're right, there are a lot of cops, I can tell you, I know, that don't like the way things are done. Okay? And they didn't sign up to be authority figures. Believe it or not, I didn't sign up to be an authority over other people. I wanted to do the job because I naively thought that it was about preventing, saving people from criminals that were aggressors. I wanted to do the job because I thought it was about stopping evil people from doing evil to others. And of course, after, doesn't take too long, but you start out with that rosy picture of the world, and then and it's programmed into you. It's what television programs it. And of course, then you discover the world of politics involved in there, and the world of backstabbing, power-hungry people and stuff like that. But the majority of the regulars are not like that, and everybody's a human. Just because you put on a uniform does not make you non-human, right? I always actually used to think that what makes why should I have any more power than anybody? I actually used to think this as I was going through my training. It didn't make any sense to me. Why should I have any more power than anybody else? Couldn't we just train, or couldn't everybody learn how to do what I'm doing? Can't we teach people to investigate, to figure out who did what, to use verbal communication to solve crimes and stuff? I mean, I learned a whole bunch of things in there, and they're invaluable to me. But if you think about it this way, in a stateless society, the people that are serving in the military now, the people that are cops, the ones that didn't sign up to be authority figures, must be a majority of them, because like I said, there's 750,000 approximately law enforcement officers scattered all over the United States in different federal and local. And obviously, we don't have 750,000 problems. We have the people and the power structure that manipulate. And yeah, there, and you are given orders that you don't like. But there are things you can do. There's passive aggressive behavior that you can do. There are ways to drive your superiors crazy. Are you telling me that people go to work every day in corporations or businesses or work with some jerk off, and then you get told to do something is wrong and you don't figure out a way to undermine them? I mean, I used to do that all the time. I did it in grammar school to teachers I didn't like. Okay, maybe it's just my nature, but that's the way I am. So, as far as, okay, on the other side, you have, and I want to try to, I hope I can articulate this properly. If they could just impose authority on you, if in the afterlife, your human body dies, let's go through the typical process. Your human body dies. You go realize, oh my gosh, I'm dead, or my body's dead, and you're looking at it, and to you now it looks like an old used garment that you don't need anymore. You feel liberated beyond belief. You're no longer weighed down by the human body, no longer slowed down by the thinking that the brain slows down your consciousness. You're unleashed. Okay, now you've had all your life of living as a human under hierarchy, under authority, under religions, under what all the other things that are bombarded at you, and now you're still thinking that way. One great book to read, if you want to see what I'm talking about, is on my book list. This book here from Howard Storm, My Descent into Death. I brought this book up several times. It is incredible how all these NDE books have certain elements to them where you can see how the person that died, that is clinically dead, is maintaining their humanness after death. They're seeing their hands, they're seeing their bodies, they're projecting their human form. And so they're susceptible to human, like a human under authority. But that's not what we are. Consciousness is not a human body or a human brain. It doesn't have a human appearance. And what I'm trying to say to you, Recklessdaughter, and others that may be listening, is that the process of controlling you, because even though you're not free of your body, let's face it, your attention was on it and what it was like to be that person. And temporarily, you are still projecting that. So you're susceptible to all kinds of things. To give you a quick rundown, Howard Storm dies. He is an atheist. Now he's a minister. And I think he's interpreted his experience incorrectly. So he went from being an atheist to a Christian minister. But what happened to him in the afterlife is he has the full treatment. First, the hell, which I believe are all the same entities that later appeared to him as angels. He's played on a cosmic level. And when you read this book, it is truly shocking how it is the New Age Christian. Some of the stuff he gets from the Jesus he meets is the same. You can find the same when they have Jesus appear in UFO abductions, which is another phenomenon that happens. I mean, the problem is that there's too much information, and I can't articulate it all in words because I've spent years figuring this stuff out, and it's hard for me to say everything that needs to be said or to transmit all the data to you in words. It's almost impossible. I try my best on my channel to try to get people so that they start researching it for themselves, but there's too much information. And what I'm trying to say is, if in a state of point of consciousness where you're not a human being anymore, if you realize that, if you understand that you are no longer that way, then what you can't be, first of all, you can't be killed. Okay? The human body, you can die here. All right? So, yeah, if you live in North Korea and you piss off the dictator, or anywhere in the world, in America, and you get the wrong person mad at you, or you get too close to some evil conspiracy, yeah, you could end up being killed here. Your body can be killed. But your point of conscious, your conscious spirit state, your energy being, whatever that is, can't be killed. So that's number one. Number two is the art of war. If our reality is a simulation and it behaves like a deception, it keeps you ignorant. That is a tactic that somebody uses when they are weaker than you. That has been known as a military tactic to use for over 2,500 years, maybe longer. I'm sure it goes back further than that, but Sun Tzu wrote it in The Art of War, and that is a book you should definitely read. If you have to use just deception as your tactic to control somebody or to get them to submit to you, then you're not operating from strength. That is a clue, I think. Okay? You don't have to eat. You don't need machinery to travel. I mean, people in out-of-body states simply want to go somewhere and then they go there. Okay? So what is keeping you and getting you into that reincarnation trap? It's that you focus your attention, or I'm saying in general, when people recount their OBE and their near-death experiences, what are they doing? What are the clues that we can gather from their direct witness testimony? Their attention is being focused. The tunnel, the light, the religious beings, the family members, the loved ones, the pets, the instruction to come with me or to go back to your body. It's not your time yet. It's all direction. It's like a magician using sleight of hand, using distraction. Look over here. Don't look over there. You're paying attention to something. You're focused on it. Something that I've noticed through out-of-body experiences and through reading all these. I haven't had an OBE. I don't think, not that I can remember. I've had lucid dreams. I've had precognitive dreams. I've had a memory that I think was a past life. I'm pretty sure of it. And I've even managed to trace the person's name in a cemetery registry. Perhaps I should do a video on that sometime. And I figured out who I may have been based on the information that I saw through that memory. It wasn't really a dream. It was like I was really remembering something. And, you have the ability, once you have knowledge. Why is it that the whole purpose of the lowest known philosophy, the absolute at bottom of the barrel of any type of spiritual awareness, you can call it religious awareness or whatever, or just awareness of reality beyond the physical, is the Gnostic or Gnosis type of philosophies. Really, that is like non-existent. You can say that Buddhism has positive attributes, but really it doesn't. A lot of these religions have problems that you start to unravel when you go deep into this stuff. And I don't think you can be as controlled on the other side as you're led to believe. Because if you simply know how the magic trick is done, and then it loses its power over you, right? If you go see a magician and they do something extraordinarily fantastic, and you're sitting there and you're watching it and you're like, wow, that's amazing. But then if you find out how it's done, you're like, oh. And then it seems like it loses its power over you, right? And to me, it's like that. if you are aware, if you have knowledge, if you know, hey, I'm not going to be controlled. You're not going to tell me where to go. I'm going to beam out of here and go to, outside the universe, take a look at it from the outside, see what's going on. I mean, really, there's nowhere you can't go. Think of it this way. If science is correct, and some of the theories they have about a multiverse, and then there's an omniverse. Think about the massive amount of realities that are out there. That this is just one version of a reality that has been created, I think, to, basically, I really do buy into that theory that we possibly created this reality is like a Venus flytrap. Sucks in points of consciousness, naive, innocent spirit beings that get lured here almost as a promise of playing a game or something, and then we get trapped here and then recycled. Because once you're in, and if you read Robert Monroe's book, Far Journeys, the second one especially, second book, what he describes there in that book, if that is his accurate description of what he experienced, the clues are all right there, yet he does not interpret it correctly. And I maintain that people like Tom Campbell do not interpret their research correctly, that they defy logic, reason, common sense. They defy just simple critical thinking about what they're looking at. They may be great scientists, great researchers, but that doesn't mean they correctly describe the essence of something, that they philosophically have defined it. So I don't think that you can be controlled really, except through distraction. And then once they get you back into the system, then you get to choose your next parents, and then the whole process starts all over again. Once your consciousness enters a new infant child, you may have a different sex. You might be a girl next time or a boy. Who knows? You might be a different race. You might be on the other side of the planet. You might grow up under extreme tyranny and suffering. You might be a rich movie star. It doesn't matter where you end up as long as you're here. It's all bad. Anyway, so what I'm saying is leaving here, and I've had people, I thought I made this perfectly clear. Leaving here may be as simple as just saying no and then leaving. And back to the multiverse, omniverse thing. Think about it this way. If this is a one universe, and you don't just want to leave like the Earth, okay? You want to get out of the whole reality construct here, which is literally the entire universe. And outside of that, there might be a multiverse of universes that may be similar or different than this one. And beyond that, there's an omniverse of multiverses. I'm just following what some scientists believe, and some of the data that seems to indicate that may be the case. And then if you look at quantum mechanics and other things like that, and other theories of reality, it's possible that we are in one universe, in a multiverse, in an omniverse. So you have endless potential. All you have to do is access the information you need by simply pulling it out of thin air. You are connected to a whole of consciousness, but you are not the whole. That is another way they trick you, is to making you everything. If you notice, everything, just about, I can't think of any religion, any statist type of philosophy that isn't always about getting the individual to surrender their sovereignty to a group. And that has to be also something that has to be avoided. You are not one. All is not one necessarily. I think of reality and the consciousness construct as individual computers, a metaphor. If you think of the internet, it does look like it's a oneness of something, but it really isn't. It is actually a shared thing from a all bunch of individual units that produce a oneness. The oneness is the result of individuals. The individual is not a result of the oneness. And most of these religions, especially the ones that profess oneness, and in the New Age movement, when they talk about oneness, they are trying to convince you that there is no individual, there is only oneness. And what I'm saying to you is, after a lot of thinking and a lot of research, and for everybody that does the comments that, what about this, what about that, the source material that backs up everything I am saying is on my website at overwatchproject.com. It is a vast amount of information, and what I'm saying is I try to find the nexus point where all these different viewpoints, all these conflicting things come together, and you can see like a big picture or something. And when you step back as try to be an outsider and look at it from the outside, what you see as a deception reality, and things are often counterintuitive, and they're told to you backward. So New Agers, some of these Buddhist-like religions, they want you to think that there is no individual. There's only oneness. Oneness, you're really just the one. The individual is an illusion. And I'm telling you, no. You know what? I'm going to be different and say, wrong. There is only individuals, and the individual points of consciousness, as diverse as they are throughout all realities, make up a oneness that networks together. So, like, if the internet was shut down tomorrow, the computer would still be there. It doesn't need the internet. The internet needs the computer, the individual computers. Do you see what I'm saying? And I hope I've made myself clear. So when your body finally dies and you've ended this contract for this life, suicide's a bad idea. That just, I think, guarantees you another role at reincarnation. You're sort of like in a life contract here, and however it goes until the end. And then, of course, there's heroic actions where you sacrifice life to save others in an emergency or something like that. But that is not what I'm talking about here. When your contract for this life ends, you will have a chance, I think, to leave if you have the knowledge, if you're not fooled by trickery, if you're not afraid, if you're fearless. You can't be hurt. You don't need to eat. You don't need computers to give you information anymore, or books. You can pull it all out of the internet. You are like a computer plugged into the network at that point, and you have access to all of it. And all you have to do is hit the escape key. And poof, you're out. Do you want to quit this game? Yes. And then the game shuts down for you and you move on, right? I hope that makes some sense. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Remember to check out my minds.com page, okay? And I'll see you guys later. Bye.